doo doo, doo doo, doo doo, doo doo. Oh, I think Carl Nielsen's harmony must sound much better than this, but this is my best attempt. So today we're here in Funen to show you the best we know about a very special Danish musician composer. His name was Carl Nielsen. So go with us.
Known as Denmark's garden, Funen is a tapestry of verdant orchards and sun-drenched thatched cottages. When Carl Nielsen roamed its field 150 years ago, the island was divided by fortune. The wealthy journeyed to Copenhagen's academic halls, while the poor weathered life in cramped, humble quarters. In the twilight of his life, Nielsen recalled his youth with reverence, painting Funen as an eternal sanctuary that never changes, forever anchored in peace. This profound belonging and the golden glow of his childhood remained a wellspring of resilience, breathing life into his most exquisite musical visions.
Carl Nielsen was born into an age of globalization. Already at that point, although most peasants have to be self-sufficient, nevertheless, whenever they're traveling to the nearby towns, they could buy things from as far away as India and South America.
During Carl Nielsen's childhood, European music underwent a profound transformation. No longer viewed primarily as a devotional act to God, music, influenced by the Romantic movement, evolved from pure melodic beauty into a powerful narrative expressing deep human emotions and personal experience. In Russia, Tchaikovsky fused folk melodies rooted in medieval traditions with Western symphonic forms, capturing the heavy, contemplative spirit of a people shaped by its harsh nature and pious faith. In France, Bizet introduced Spanish rhythms, especially in Carmen, to depict emotional transformation through intense experience. Wagner pushed tonal harmony to its limit with extreme dissonance and prolonged unresolved tension, evoking a powerful sense of endless longing. Meanwhile, mechanic music box made complex music increasingly accessible to ordinary people.
According to his sister Sophie, Carl already as a child liked to imitate the sound of nature, among others, the birds, which fly back and forth. And according to her memoir, he really liked to imitate their music. But sooner or later, he started to make up his own tune as an impression of their music and also his own experience of listening to them when the warm summer wind just blows through the village and make him feel pretty good about life.
Carl Nielsen was a young boy and lay bedridden with a serious illness. His mother gave him a violin as a toy to pass the time. Within a short while, he was already playing beautiful little melodies on the fiddle, delighting both himself and his family. Before he turned 10, he had composed several catchy tunes inspired by the folk music he heard at local parties and gatherings.
He probably went to a school like this, although he was quite average, according to himself academically. He actually learned one important skill here in school, that is to play violin. I think many of us who have listened to his music when we studied must feel a real sense of reverie whenever a violin solo comes to our awareness.
His childhood years saw a time of explosion of music styles. Niels Gade's experiments helped initiate the popular trend of Nordic-inspired music. In neighboring Norway, the renowned Edvard Grieg drew heavily on Norwegian folk songs as inspiration, creating a wide range of works that captured complex human emotions across different seasons and occasions. It must have been exciting to explore a new melodic language that epitomized individual experience.
Nielsen family was the historical Jackson 5. They were a famous boy band who played folk music around whenever there is a feast in this beautiful village.
When there is a party in the town, Nielsen and his brother, and of course his father, will dress up in something like this and start to play the music. And according to his diary, later in his life, this was the most important period of his life. One of the most important musicians which has influenced his music for the rest of his life was, of course, the blind Anders.
Blind Anders was a clarinetist and a very good friend of Carl Nielsen's father, who often performed on violin and cornet. His deeply emotional playing, authentic interpretations of folk songs, and unique ability to express the raw and hearty spirit of traditional dance music made a profound impression on the young Nielsen. It planted the seed for his lifelong love of wind instruments. Many of Nielsen's best pieces require only a few simple instruments, a collaboration of musicians who might have very different interpretations of the experiences captured in the melodies can work nicely together. The exciting dynamic of many of his best-known works display the transformation of a character through shared communication. For me, much of his best music should never be directed by a conductor. The sound is at its best when each musician plays their part in accordance with their own understanding of the story Nielsen tries to describe through the music.
Carl Nielsen's mother was an encouraging woman. She was not as talented and gifted in music. Nevertheless, she had faith in her children. And before Carl Nielsen departed for Copenhagen, she whispered one single sentence to him. That is, "Jag tror du kan." That is, "I believe you could." With these words, she sent her son away to the big world to make up whatever he dreamed about.
From his beginnings in the 16th Battalion military band in Odense to his studies at the Royal Danish Academy of Music via the Anchor Grant, Nielsen's journey was one of constant expansion. His travel through Dresden, Leipzig, and Berlin immersed him in a landscape where Schumann, Mendelssohn, and Wagner were redefining Romanticism, while his time in France and Italy further polished his craft. A master of complexity, Nielsen wove intricate polyphonic melodies and daring dissonance into his scores. Through the sophisticated harmonies, he captured the resilient spirit of the ordinary Dane, evoking the luminous beauty of Danish summer, even amidst the darkest, coldest winter month.
Although many people like to claim that Nielsen's music depicts the stereotypical Danish sound, but when you start to listen to his music again and again, you suddenly realize he did what he could to express himself, as he says. Music does not depict life, it is life. So what is life? Life is, of course, a lot of different encounters, some of which could be calculated before, and most of which are just things which fallen down from above.
Carl Nielsen's music is often driven by an irrepressible will to live, a sense of vitality that finds expression in the glow of summer light and the gentle awakening of spring. This life-affirming energy resonates strongly with the fog is lifting, where the gradual emergence from darkness into clarity mirrors both a physical and emotional renewal. Like many of his chamber musics, this piece reflects nature's cycle and transformations, drawing the romantic ideals while remaining distinctively personal. Nielsen captured the fleeting interplay of light, atmosphere, and season, creating a sonic landscape that offers both refuge and renewal. In this way, the vision of summer, radiant, liberating, and restorative, becomes not only an image of nature, but a sustaining force through the stillness and hardship of Nordic winter.
Great Jewish psychologist Sigmund Freud had a great impact on Nielsen, and the idea of surreal becomes by all means a subjective experience, because what you dream about is probably your inner desire, what drives you to progress towards a direction which may not be recognized as the most optimal way by the commons, but that is probably a destination which is meant for you.
It is intriguing to analyze repetition in the music of Carl Nielsen. Unlike in earlier traditions, where repetition typically remains within the same tonal framework, Nielsen often allows repeated material to shift harmonically and modally. In several works, the basic structure of a repeated passage evolves, emphasizing changes in tonal color and perspective, rather than simple restatement. His musical language can evoke a dreamlike quality, not through smooth, continuous transitions, but through contrast between repetitions. Rather than maintaining the same level of dissonance, he often sets opposing harmonic or expressive states against each other, creating a sense of transformation through juxtaposition. For the listener, these unexpected shifts can interrupt a linear train of thought, drawing attention instead of the unfolding, almost abstract sequence of musical events.
Unlike Van Gogh, Nielsen was already highly esteemed when he was alive. His music was played all over Europe and also in places like Japan, America. And I'm just wonder, how did he actually introduce his eccentric Danishness or his eccentric Nielsenish towards a wild world which still adores something called consensus? I'm wondering.
Although Denmark is a small country, for many people, the music of Carl Nielsen represents its national sound, a spirit of warmth and contentment, where people appreciate moments of simple joy under the summer sun. For me, his music is not only a refined abstraction of Danish folk traditions, but also a valiant attempt to capture subtle shifts of emotion that many of us recognize and share.
Carl Nielsen was by all means a highly internationally recognized musician. Nevertheless, I have a feeling that he did not really like the attention which he received. Just look at here. After he has been to a meeting with the most distinguished musicians and royalties, he kind of read like this. The Royal Music Academy, with its elevated members, the fine old chamberlains, gentlemen of the nobility and music connoisseur had a meeting to which I was invited. Everything was terribly distinguished and stylish. It was not exciting, it was not inspiring, it was distinguished and stylish, as if I have to play along, you know that those are distinguished people. I actually have to eat with fork and knife instead of just grab it, the most delicious bite, and put it in my mouth and enjoy it the way only I could do it.
The best works of Carl Nielsen possesses a sense of mystery and unpredictability. The flute often takes on the role of expressing shifts in a natural phenomenon, while the accompanying harp or piano creates a rich ambient texture, a blend of subtle movements like rustling trees or the sound of wind. Much like walking through a forest, one suddenly realizes that the leading solo voice plays only a small part. The surrounding textures, which do not always following the same musical patterns or rhythms, draw attention away from what initially dominates our focus. Instead, it is the interplay, the constant transformation and interdependence between the soloist and its environment that makes the music, or perhaps life itself, so compelling.